Hi, I'm Owen, the host of the Australian Finance Podcast. This podcast is proudly sponsored by BetaShares, one of the leading providers of ETFs here in Australia. Serving thousands of financial advisors and over 1 million investors, BetaShares manages tens of billions of dollars on behalf of investors right across the country. I'm proud to partner with BetaShares on the Australian Finance Podcast, Australia's premier financial podcast, because there is great alignment in the long-term philosophy shared by both businesses. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Australian Finance Podcast.
Welcome to this bonus episode of the Australian Finance Podcast, your Wednesday dose of quick, practical tips to help you stay on track with your money and your mindset. These bonus episodes are designed to be super short, sharp, and super easy to digest. We try to keep these under 15 minutes, and these are the bonuses that go out between our longer form Monday episodes and our Q&A sessions on Friday. So I'm Gemma Mitchell, and today I'm joined by Tahli, one of our advisors from Rask Advice. Welcome, Tahli.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to go through this one. I have been trying to record this episode for a while, and I couldn't find anyone to join me because they weren't excited about money math, but I think it is so important. So I have a confession, and most people know this about me. I would say, I don't want to say I'm terrible at maths, but I don't prioritize maths. I don't like it. And people are always surprised when they hear that I don't consider myself good at maths. I could be if I actually prioritized it and tried, but I don't. I like money. I don't like math. Okay. So big disclaimer. Yes, I'm a financial advisor and I've been working in finance for 20 years. I hate math, but there are some mathematical formulas that you must know. And even if you're like me and you don't like maths or really care for it, or you don't consider yourself good with math, these ones you will absolutely be able to nail.
Right, because they're more like little hacks.
They are hacks. They
that don't
absolutely
require
are.
Much math.
Yeah, and I think people automatically, when they're thinking about money, they overcomplicate it and think that they have to, know all of this complicated stuff. And people actually say, like when you say you work in finance and stuff, they'll go, oh, I was never good at math or something at school. And I'm like, well, one, it's a skill. So you could be if you wanted to, but you just need to prioritize it, which I don't. But these are for you if you are that person. We're going to go through 3 of the main financial math hacks that you should know that will get you pretty far in life with your finances, even if you don't like it.
Love it.
Yes, great. So let's dive into it. So the first one is called the Rule of 72. Do you want to take us through this one?
Yeah, I love this one. And I think I use it at least weekly with clients. So the rule of 72 at its core is just looking at how long it will take you to double your money. So the formula behind it is 72 divided by the interest rate equals years to double. So, for example, if you've got 72 divided by 6% as your interest rate, we can assume that it's going to take 12 years to double your money. So it's a really nifty one that comes up all the time. And if I'm sitting down with a client and talking about their assumed super balance in 10 years' time, I always use if your super is going to earn 7% per annum for 10 years, in 10 years' time, you'll double your money, and then flip it. If you're going to have a really aggressive portfolio and aim for that 10% return, it should take 7 years to double your money. So they're the kind of 2 ones that I use a lot. But do you want to take us through how to use it?
Yeah, so this one is for people that are trying to plan out and I guess compare with the value of different interest rates and different things. I think it's obviously very oversimplified. You know, we're not taking into account tax and all of these different things, but it just shows you that if you're thinking and planning out and seeing, well, what interest rate could I get and why is it important to look at one that fits your risk profile and things, but the impact of that extra 1 or 2%, this is a really quick mathematical calculation that anyone can do that can show you, okay, well, that's what that's going to show me. That's what that outcome's going to be. So this one I do love just from a quick, like a really quick snapshot on where what the potential is really. There's great compounding calculators and things online that make it super easy. But before we had those, this was the go-to, right? And this is something that anyone can do. You've got a calculator in your phone. So you're literally going 72 divided by whatever interest rate you are assuming that you'll get is going to be how many years. This is a great, simple, basic one that everyone should know.
Yeah. Love it.
The next one is the FIRE number. Now, we could do a whole episode on FIRE. So FIRE is Financial Independence, Retire Early. It is a movement. It has a cult-like following, but there is some math behind it. So a FIRE number is, the rule is whatever you want to live off to be financially independent, so you don't have to work, whatever you need to live off each year, you times it by 25. And that gets you a amount of money. Think of it like a big pot of money that would be invested, and it's assumed that you could then draw that amount you need to live off and it would last, 30 years. This is based on, it was called the Trinity study, done a very long time ago, on how much money you need to retire and your money to last. So the formula is whatever your annual spending is times 25 is how much you need in a big bucket of money invested for you to produce that amount of income. So for example, if you wanted $60,000 a year to live off, times that by 25, you get $1.5 million. That is the amount you would aim for in shares, super, income producing assets so that you could achieve that 60,000. But there are some things to consider: tax, inflation, all of those things. And they've actually done, so since that Trinity study came out, they have actually reworked it quite a few times. And they've, so this is based on the 4% rule, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but they've changed it up a few times and gone, well, could you do it a little bit different? But this one's kind of hard and fast, that this is like ballpark on if you've got a question in your mind, how much do I need to stop work? Well, this is a great one to go to.
Yeah.
When do you use this kind of stuff?
I love this for younger clients, especially in just like making a concrete target with their wealth generation. I think it's a really easy way to give yourself a quick, hard and fast number to work towards. And if you don't have a number to work towards, what we see most of the time is that people just kind of like flip-flop around and don't get anywhere. So yeah, I love using this one just to get people thinking about where they want to be and where they are now and bridging that gap.
This one could actually work really well with the 72, the rule of 72, because potentially, we should have probably done this as number one. Potentially you would go, right, well, if I didn't work anymore, I would want, so the example I gave was $60,000 a year. Now make sure you take into account tax with that, but say you want $60,000 a year, you'd go, right, times by 25, that's 1.5 million. Then you might go, right, well, currently I've got X amount. Now I'm going to see how long I need to double my money till I'm actually going to get there.
Yeah.
So these could work, really well together. But the really important thing here is this is not taking into account tax. So if that 60,000 you wanted was going to be net, like you actually needed 60,000, you would want to gross that up for what, tax you might pay. So you would just jump on like pay calculator online or something and kind of go, right, well, does it mean I actually need $80,000 a year? Just to allow for some tax. So I always like people to put buffers on stuff. Yeah. Buffers are important. Tax, changes, inflation and things. But a great, hard, fast rule, the FIRE number, what you want to spend each year times 25.
Yeah, love it. You've also got one other note here about that this isn't your net worth, it's your pool of investment assets, which I think is a really important point because, your principal place of residence or your like the home that you're living in is not going to be generating income for you unless you intend on changing the purpose of it down the track. But assuming it's not going to be used as an investment property down the track, that shouldn't form part of your...
Exactly. Yep. It's definitely not your net worth. Think of it like a big pool of money that will be invested and it will generate some income somehow. A little hack with this, and we're probably getting too much into the detail because we were telling you it's super simple maths, but say So I gave the example of 60,000. So a common one people get stuck here is they go, oh, well, I've got an investment property or I've got another stream of income that brings me in 20,000. I'm not going to sell. How do I include that? The easiest way to do it is go, if you need 60,000 and 20 of it's coming from somewhere else, just for this number, calculate, you need 40,000, right? Just totally separate them and go, right, that one's providing me X amount. What do I need my FIRE number to produce? That's just like the easiest way to try to take into other income or assets into this calculation. Just swipe it off and go, what else do I need? What's left? And then that's the pot of money you need in shares, super, something that will produce a regular income.
Yes. One last point. I have to make it. If you're including, rental income from a property, just factor in all the other costs that are coming with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Before deducting it from your target.
Net, absolutely. Now, the next one we have is the 4% rule. Now, this is tied very, very closely to the one that we just talked about, the 25% rule. But the 4% rule is another one that everybody should know about. Do you want to take us through this one?
Yeah, I love this one. This one is all about how much you can safely withdraw in retirement. And the assumption is that, say you have $1 million in your total combined super portfolios, if we're looking at a household, if you times that by 4% or 0.04, that's $40,000 a year that you can comfortably withdraw without depleting capital. And the rationale behind it all is that you should be earning a total return of 4% at least per year. So if you're earning 4% and you're withdrawing 4%, your overall capital value should stay flat.
Yeah. So the 4% is safe because it takes inflation and things are added on top of that. So it assumes that the 4% you're taking is going up with inflation because the cost of living is going up as well. So this is actually the FIRE number just flipped. You come to the same calculation. One, you start with the amount of money you have in a bucket, and one, you start with the amount of income you want. So they tie in really, that they're the same calculation, but it's just coming from a different angle. So yeah, this one would be, well, I know I'm going to get to this amount of investment. What would that produce me? Whereas the other one is, I'm going to get to a certain amount. I need a certain amount to live off. What do I need to get to in the bucket? Yeah. So they are the same calculation, just flipped. So whichever one is more accurate for your situation, you would focus on that. But the 4% rule I love. And just like I said in the last one, the Trinity study, this has been reviewed quite a few times and they've gone, well, actually it works as a 5% rule or a 6, but you just want to do what's safe for you and what you're comfortable with. Yeah. But it assumes that, it's about a 30-year retirement. This money should last if you were drawing 4% off it, and that 4% could go up with inflation. Yeah. So this is a super quick calculation. So how you do this is your total amount, so $1 million, for example, times 4% equals $40,000 a year. And you'd go, right, could I live off $40,000 a year? If the answer is no, you need to bump up that $1 million. But this is a great, quick, easy math that I think everybody should know, even if you hate maths like me.
Yeah. No, I love it.
So that is the 3 money maths hacks that you need to know. We've got the rule of 72, how long it will take for your money to double. We went through the FIRE number, so assuming that your annual spending times 25 is how much you should be aiming for in investable assets. And then the rule of 4%, how much could you draw off your portfolio safely and have it last you, 30 odd years. So that is just some quick maths that we want everybody to know. We have Q&As on every Friday. So if you have questions around stuff like this, anything else, you can head to your the notes in your podcast player. You'll see a link there for questions. You can send them in, questions, comments, feedback. Funnier the names, the better. We absolutely love them. So send them through. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for joining me on this episode, Tahli.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Thanks for watching this episode of the podcast. If you want to hear more from us, you can get daily videos and podcasts on Rask's YouTube channel. Or if you want to enroll in a free course on investing, property, business, money, you name it, you can join over 34,000 other students and enroll in a free course on the Rask website. Simply head to www.rask.com.au and follow the prompts. Thanks for watching this Rask podcast.